So I told you guys I would do a write-up on how I installed the Civic Half rod from the 92 to 2000 Civic EG, EK, and I think it fits Integra DC chassis also. This is just it's a no-name. It's a dual-core, all-aluminum rad with it came with a brand new Skunk 2 radiator cap, which was nice. And I bought a 12-inch slim fan along with a slim fan shroud, an aftermarket one. I was going to go with the stock Civic one, but it stuck out pretty far. I didn't want it to sit right next to my header because this thing has a B-swap in it, hold the cord. Pretty much what I did, I didn't cut off any of the stock radiator mounts just because I was like, okay, well if I do this wrong and I cut them off and I can't put my stock radiator back in because I didn't have a welder at the time. Down there you see the mount along with the modified switch. Stock this car just had a plug that plugged into the factory fan, and it was a big bulky plug, and this radiator came with some little just pop together connectors, so I went and got some other ones and made it work. Stock overflow location still there, stock overflow hose. I mean, I need to get a little longer one, it's kind of kinked, but so I didn't cut anything on the chassis. Everything's still down there, all the frame rail and everything, but as you can tell, it's a thin piece of aluminum. I'm not sure how thick it is, but it's about, I don't know. I made 2 strips of that so I could put them back here to cover this up because my headlights filled with water because I have aftermarket headlight housings with aftermarket bulbs. So at the time I was just like, well, this is more important, so I cut it in half. And let's see if I can show you on the I don't know if you can see it. On the bottom of the radiator there are these metal, or not metal, whatever, aluminum tabs that pop into like the stock Civic radiator mounts. So I just pretty much drilled a hole in this bracket with a step bit until it was big enough to slide right over that. And then I had some intake manifold vacuum caps that I put on the bottom of it with a hose clamp so you couldn't lift it out. And it isn't really going anywhere, so I guess it's working. That one doesn't have a hose clamp on it, and I probably should go in there and do that sometime. But so that's how the lower is mounted. It's pretty nice, it works great, this thing ain't going anywhere. And then for the upper, same thing, kind of some battle ones to install. I had another thin just bracket laying around. It was about out to here. It was from an intake that I bought for a Subaru. It had a little air filter bracket mount you can mount over to the chassis. So same thing I did down there. I got a step bit and just tapped it out until this thing fit through it. And then I thought this was cool. I just kind of, it's hidden, but you can still see it on the painted blue right here. But this is how the top's held in. Just a self tapper straight through, and then I cut the excess off the bracket. Very nicely done though. And then I had a little bit too much excess on one of those bottom vacuum caps, so I cut it off and then I just put it up here to hold it. It really ain't going anywhere. It's kind of hot. I just had it running. But yeah, other than that, I mean, a lot of people mount them in the car and they take that lower mount out over there and move it over to the left as far as they could. But with the B-swap, I saw the radiator hoses fit nicely with it over here. Over here, it kind of did some weird stuff. It would have been sitting right here. This one's just a, yeah. Anyways, it works great. It works so much better than the stock radiator. It's amazing. I have an aftermarket coolant temp sensor, but it's mounted on the hot side, and yes, it's kind of leaking. I need to tighten it up. So I see what the engine is when it's like at its hottest point, and it's definitely colder than what it used to be. And another thing too, stock, this car had the fan switch was in the radiator, and this half rad doesn't have a fan switch hole you can mount it in. Some people like tap them out and put a fan switch in it. I didn't want to do that. And it's like I think it's a 210 degree fan switch, and this motor has a 190, I believe, a 190 back on the thermostat housing, so it's the cold side. So what I did was I de-loomed the harness. I didn't have to extend anything, I just de-loomed it, ran the fan wires down there still, and then up here, this used to go down to the radiator. This is a stock wiring for the fan switch ran all the way up and then plugged in back here on the thermostat housing, which I'll make it look pretty later. This is just testing to make sure it works, but works great. I can't believe it actually went that easy. I had this thing sitting around for so long thinking it's gonna take a lot of work, but yeah, no, it literally, you can't move it at all. It's great, and it's cool because you know you can like see your shit through the opening. So that's that. Pretty simple. Just get you some thin metal brackets. These are just cheap aluminum up here. That one down there is a little bit sturdier. And then, oh, one more thing. I think you probably saw it down there. Bend the bracket to make it fit the chassis. And then I just use some self-counter bits like I did up there. Tighten them down. They ain't going nowhere. Works pretty great. So that's that. Hope y'all enjoy that little how-to video, and good luck.